Right now, as you're watching this video, there's a conversation happening inside your head. You might be thinking, is this worth my time? Or I wonder what he's going to say next. That voice you're hearing. It's one of the most powerful tools you possess, and also potentially one of your greatest adversaries. I'm Dr. Ethan Kross, and I've spent the last 2 decades studying the science of our inner voice. What I've discovered might surprise you. This silent conversation you're having with yourself right now can either be your superpower or your kryptonite. Today, I'm going to share with you the scientifically validated tools that can transform your relationship with your inner voice, helping you harness its power while preventing it from spiraling into what I call chatter, the destructive thought loops that undermine our performance, relationships, and well-being. If you've ever been kept awake at night by anxious thoughts, or found yourself replaying an embarrassing moment over and over, this video is for you. Let's dive in. Your inner voice is remarkably sophisticated. It's the silent use of language to reflect on our lives. This ability is uniquely human and serves several crucial functions. Think about the last time you needed to remember a phone number. You probably repeated it silently to yourself. That's verbal working memory, one function of your inner voice. Or when you were planning your day this morning, that mental to-do list. Inner voice at work. When you give yourself a pep talk before a big presentation, you've got this, you're prepared. That's your inner voice serving a motivational function. But here's where things get interesting and challenging. When your inner voice gets stuck in negative cycles, what I call chatter, it starts working against you. Let me share a personal example. Years ago, I was scheduled to give an important talk at a conference. The night before, I made a small mistake during dinner with colleagues. Nothing major. I accidentally knocked over a glass of water. But my inner voice latched onto it. That was so embarrassing. They must think you're so clumsy. You'll probably mess up your presentation too. What started as a minor incident snowballed into hours of rumination. I couldn't sleep. My mind kept replaying that moment and catastrophizing about my upcoming talk. The next morning, I was exhausted and distracted, not because of the water spill, but because of my chatter. Does this sound familiar to anyone? This is chatter in action. It consumes your attention resources, impairs your problem-solving abilities, and can even affect your physical health through chronic stress activation. But here's the good news. Science has uncovered powerful tools to transform this pattern. And contrary to popular belief, the solution isn't just to think positive or stop overthinking. It's much more nuanced and effective than that. The first tool I want to share with you is called self-distancing. When we're caught in chatter, we're typically zoomed in too close to our experiences. We're in the emotional weeds, so to speak. Self-distancing creates psychological space between you and your experiences, allowing you to gain perspective. There are several ways to do this. One powerful method is what I call distanced self-talk. Instead of thinking, I'm so nervous about this presentation, try using your name. Ethan, you've prepared for this. You know this material. This isn't just positive thinking. It's a linguistic shift that activates different neural networks in your brain. When we use our names or the second person, you, we access the part of our brain that we typically use when giving advice to friends. Try it right now. Think of a challenge you're facing. Instead of saying, I need to figure this out, try your name, you can handle this. Feel the difference. Our research shows this simple shift reduces anxiety, improves performance, and enhances self-control. Another powerful distancing technique is mental time travel, or temporal distancing. When you're caught in an emotional moment, ask yourself, how will I feel about this a week from now? A month? A year? I had a student who was devastated after not getting into her top choice graduate program. The chatter was intense. She questioned her abilities, her future, everything. I asked her to imagine how she might feel about this setback 5 years in the future. This simple prompt helped her recognize that while painful now, this rejection wouldn't define her entire life trajectory. This isn't about dismissing your emotions. It's about contextualizing them. Research shows that temporal distancing reduces the intensity of negative emotions by highlighting their impermanence. Now, let's talk about something that might seem counterintuitive: the role of other people in managing our inner voice. When we're struggling with chatter, our instinct is often to vent to friends or family. But here's what the research shows. Venting without purpose often backfires, amplifying negative emotions rather than dissipating them. What works instead is what I call chatter management conversations, interactions that validate your feelings while broadening your perspective. The key is finding the right people. Ideal chatter support provides two things: emotional validation and cognitive reframing. They say, "I understand why you feel this way, and have you considered looking at it from this angle? But be careful. Not all social interactions help." Some people, despite good intentions, can function as chatter amplifiers. They get caught up in your negative spiral, reinforcing rather than relieving it. Here's a practical tip. Create a board of advisors for your mental health, different people who serve different emotional needs. Maybe your partner is great at validation, while your colleague excels at problem solving. Knowing who to turn to for what kind of support is a powerful chatter management strategy. Your environment shapes your inner voice more than you might realize. This leads us to another powerful tool: sensory experiences. Have you noticed how certain songs can immediately shift your emotional state? Or how a walk in nature can clear your mind? These aren't coincidences. They're powerful interventions for managing chatter. Natural environments are particularly effective. Studies show that just 20 minutes in a park reduces activity in brain regions associated with rumination. Nature provides what psychologists call soft fascination. It captures attention gently without overwhelming cognitive resources, giving your mind a break from chatter. If you're finding value in these science-backed strategies, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my upcoming videos on applied psychological science for everyday well-being. Physical touch is another powerful sensory intervention. A 20-second hug releases oxytocin, which can break the cycle of negative thoughts. Even holding a warm beverage can create a sense of comfort that counteracts chatter. Here's something you can try right now. Place your hand over your heart and take 3 deep breaths. This simple action activates your parasympathetic nervous system, helping to calm your physiological stress response. Sometimes, the best way to manage chatter isn't to suppress it, but to express it with structure. Writing about emotional experiences, what psychologists call expressive writing, imposes organization on chaotic thoughts. When you translate your experiences into language, you integrate scattered emotions into a coherent narrative. I recommend what I call the chatter journal. 15 minutes of writing about your thoughts and feelings regarding a challenging situation. The key is to write continuously without censoring yourself, and to include both the facts of what happened and your emotional reactions. But there's a crucial element that makes this technique effective, which I'll share in just a moment. First, let me explain why this works. The act of writing creates distance between you and your experiences. You become both the author and the reader of your story, activating those same self-distancing mechanisms we discussed earlier. That crucial element I mentioned. It's structure. Don't just vent on paper. Try to organize your thoughts, look for patterns, or even explore possible solutions. Research shows that unstructured venting can reinforce negative emotions, while structured expression leads to insights and emotional processing. Now, how do we translate all this knowledge into action? This is where implementation science comes in. One framework I recommend is WOOP, Wish, Outcome, Obstacle, Plan, developed by my colleague Gabriel Oettingen. Start by identifying your wish, what you want to achieve. Maybe it's I want to manage my pre-presentation anxiety. Next, visualize the outcome, how you'll feel when you succeed. I'll feel confident and present during my talk. Then, identify the obstacle, what might get in your way. My inner voice might start catastrophizing the night before. Finally, create a specific plan using an if-then format. If I notice myself catastrophizing before bed, then I will use distance self-talk and write in my chatter journal for 15 minutes. This approach works because it acknowledges the reality of obstacles rather than just focusing on positive outcomes. It prepares your mind to recognize challenges when they arise and implement specific strategies to address them. And remember, flexibility is key. Sometimes focusing directly on a problem is helpful. Other times, strategic distraction is more effective. The goal isn't to eliminate your inner voice, but to develop a healthier relationship with it. Before we wrap up, I want to address something important. Having dark or intrusive thoughts doesn't mean something is wrong with you. These thoughts are incredibly common and often represent your brain's way of simulating worst-case scenarios to prevent them. The difference between those who thrive and those who struggle isn't the presence of these thoughts, it's the tools they have to manage them. Your inner voice is one of your greatest assets. It helps you learn, plan, motivate, and connect with others. By implementing the science-backed strategies we've discussed today, self-distancing, selective social support, environmental interventions, structured expression, and implementation planning, you can harness its power while preventing it from spiraling into chatter. I'd love to hear which of these strategies resonates most with you. Leave a comment below, and if you found this valuable, please share it with someone who might benefit. For more science-based strategies on managing your mind, check out my book Chatter, The Voice in Our Head, Why It Matters and How to Harness It. Or follow me on social media where I share research-backed insights regularly. Thank you for your attention today. Remember, the conversation in your head shapes your reality, but with the right tools, you get to lead that conversation. Until next time, this is Dr. Ethan Kross, wishing you a healthier relationship with your inner voice.